Good morning, Rampage family. Welcome back. Game 2 of the weekend. This morning's game, we've got a matchup with the Minnesota Wilderness. And if you're just tuning in for the first time this weekend, had a rough game yesterday. The boys lost to the Sioux Falls Power by a score of 6-1. Hoping to see the boys put up a good effort today, get into a little bit more of a rhythm, and then just get going on the season and walk away from the game feeling good about how they played. So thanks everybody for tuning in. This is the first of 2 games today. We've got another game later this afternoon. I have 0 scouting information on the team we're playing against today. I don't know anything about them, but so I'm just going to focus on us. Little bit of just player updates for the team today. We've got, for those of you who are watching yesterday, Max Udonis was out the second half of the game yesterday for a wrist injury that they were worried about, potential fracture or something in the wrist, and had him checked out yesterday. The good news is nothing's broken. He's probably just in a lot of pain, I would imagine, but he is back in the game today, so we'll see him. Unfortunately, Liam Holmes was out yesterday due to apparently he took a pretty nasty hit to the noggin at some point in that first half of the game. So they had him out for concussion symptoms, and sounds like he's probably still out today, and I'd say most likely doubtful for the rest of the weekend. So while he's healing up and resting up, we'll have Zach Stahl in net most likely for the rest of the weekend. So, so we're a little bit bruised and battered, but hopefully the boys will be able to fight through it. They seem to be in good spirits yesterday. And hopefully they, like I said, can kind of just get into a rhythm, start figuring each other out a little bit so they can have a little bit better results than what we've seen so far. It's been a tough start to the season, but you guys all have very good kids, and they're still here ready to battle. So I don't think I start period number 1. We've got Whitted at Drexel, Sarver, Wheeler, and Espirito, and as I mentioned before, Zach Stahl in net. Rampage win the draw, back to Wheeler on the far side. Wheeler turns, makes a move, sends it, it doesn't connect, that's going to go for icing. So we get a whistle, face-off will be in the Rampage zone just 7 seconds into this first period. Rampage win the draw, back into the corner. Wheeler's going to pick it up, sends it up to Drexel. He chips it up into the zone. Not enough for icing. Play continues. Whitted's it with it down to the corner, centering pass to Drexel. Drexel shot gets deflected into the corner. Doesn't make it through. Puck held in the zone. Sarver's going to go after it. Takes a weird bounce, but he manages to feed it back behind the net. Over to the far side. Drexel's in there. He picks it up. Tries to center to Sarver. Just doesn't connect. It comes up to the point. Espirito holds it in the zone. Drops it for Whitted. Goes off a stick. He has to recollect. He turns, sends a shot. Goaltender makes a save. Espirito pinching in. Takes a shot. Goaltender makes a save. He's going to cover it up and hang on. A couple of shots early in the period, and now we'll get a change of players. Some fresh skaters on the ice. 17-12 left in the first. Face-off in the Wilderness zone. Out on the ice, we've got Wilton, Whittingham, Roberts, Merrill, and Gudanis. Puck comes up out of the zone. Gudanis is going to wrangle it over to Merrill. Now back to Roberts. He's into the zone with it. A poke check, and Wilderness have it back. They're going to turn. Skate it back behind their own net. Wilton is in there to try to tie things up. Wilderness come out. They send it up and out of the zone. Merrill back to Gudanis. Gudanis over to Roberts. Roberts sends it up towards Whittingham. Chips it off the boards. Wilton's into the zone with it. Sends the pass across just behind Gudanis, who's closing in. Whittingham takes it away. He's got it in neutral ice. He turns, he skates with it. He's back into the zone. Wilderness chip it up and out all the way back. Bisley picks it up in his own zone. Turns and gives it to Roberts. Poke check, and it comes back to Huff. Huff's going to skate out of the zone with it, sends it up to a Wilderness player. A little bit of back and forth at neutral ice. Bisley chips it up. McManus gets there. He's into the zone with it, takes a shot. Goaltender makes a save. Puck ends up on the far wall. Rahojan drops it, and now looks like Wilderness are going to turn around and come back the other way. They feed it up. They're into the Rampage zone. Huff sends it back out again. And back into the zone. It looks like Wilderness were offside. We're going to face off just outside the Rampage zone. 15:53 left in the first. Out on the ice, we've got Foster, McManus, Rahojan, Huff, and Bisley. Rampage win the draw. Rahojan's going to send it across to Huff on the far side. Rahojan comes back, picks it up. He turns with it, skates to the near side, holds up, and then backhands it over to Bisley. Bisley skates, tries to chip it up, and then it goes off of a body, bounces into the Wilderness zone. It's in the far corner on the far side. Wilderness with it. Send it up, but not out. Huff holds at the blue line, puck back behind the Wilderness net. McManus in the corner to do battle. He's got Rahojan with him. Wilderness send it up to the near side. Cross ice. Wilderness are going to take the red line and dump it in. Huff has to go back into his own zone behind the net to pick it up. Picks it up in his own zone, sends it off the near side, takes a weird bounce, and Whitted's in the zone with it. Puck down low in the corner. He's going to do battle down low with the player. He's got King in there with him. Wilderness are going to pull it out. They send it to off the boards, and now it bounces up and out. Wheeler has to come back, try to recollect it. Puck stuck on the boards. Whitted's going to poke it into the zone ever so gently. Wilderness send it up, and they're into the Rampage zone with it, and they're offside. So a little bit of a 3-on-1 developing. Rampage get a break there. Faceoff will be just outside the Rampage zone. Out on the ice, we've got Bender, Whitted, King, Wheeler, and Espirito. Wilderness win the draw. They're going to send it into the Rampage zone. Wheeler has to come back for it down low. Sends it up the wall on the far side. Wilderness hold at the wall. Gets poked back down low. Wheeler has to pick it up behind his own net. Makes a quick move. Wheeler's going to send it up and out of the zone. Gets held up right at the red line. And Wilderness are into the Rampage zone with the puck now. Send it towards Stahl. He makes the save. He's going to cover it up. We'll get a face-off in the Rampage zone. 14:01 left in period number 1. Out on the ice, Merrill, Whittingham, Gudanis, Drexel, and Sarver. Tied up on the draw. Whittingham's going to come out with it. Gets tied up in the corner. He's got Gudanis with him, and now Whittingham's going to skate it out from his own zone. He dumps it into the Wilderness zone. Wilderness are going to collect. They send it cross ice to the near side and then back again on the far side boards. Wilderness player sends it across ice, and they're going to skate it out of their zone now. They're through neutral. Takes a shot from just outside the zone. Stahl's going to just grab it and hang on to it in his glove. 13:29 left in period number 1. Face-off will be in the Rampage zone. Same crew out as before. Rampage win the draw. Merrill's going to dump it down low to Gudanis. sends it up to Drexel. Drexel takes the red line. He brings it in the zone, drops it over for Whittingham. Whittingham takes a shot. Oh, and that was a goal. Okay. I couldn't tell. It was, looks like it hit the top corner and bounced right out. So with 13:16 left on period number 1, Jack Whittingham puts the Rampage on the board. All right, out on the ice, we've got Wilton, McManus, Roberts, Bisley, and Huff. Rampage win the draw. They're into the Wilderness zone with it. Puck chipped up the boards. Roberts pulls it off the boards, and now Wilton's going to take it into the corner. He drops it down low. Tied up down low in the corner. Wilderness player's going to send it up, but not out. Bisley holds it at the blue line. And now the puck's coming up. McManus turns, fires from up high, goes wide of the net. Puck to the near side boards. Down low, Wilton's going to pick it up. McManus turns, fires. Roberts tips it, goes wide of the net, ends up in the far corner. Puck comes up to the point. Bisley takes a shot from the point, and the goaltender has it in his glove. He's going to hang on. So we get a stoppage. We'll have the face-off in the Wilderness zone with 12:26 left in the first. Out on the ice, Rahosian, Whitted, Foster, Espirito, and Wheeler. Wilderness win the draw. They turn, send it up. Espirito holds at the point. He drops it down low. Wilderness with it, send it back up, and now it bounces. It's going to go out of the zone, and they're going to send it into the Rampage zone in the far corner. Wheeler gets there, sends it around to the near side. Rahosian's going to pick it up. He skates with it. He's through neutral into the Wilderness zone. Puck down low into the corner. Rahosian sends it, tries to send it up to Espirito, back to Rahosian. Wilderness take it away. They've got it in their own zone. They're going to send it up. Wheeler with the steal has to wait for everybody to tag up, and he dumps it in. Puck down low. Looks like Whitted's in there. Rahosian and Foster are in the area. Foster's going to come in, try to help him out. Puck tied up on the boards. Rahosian comes off the wall with it. Puck goes to the far side. Rahosian with a backhand that goes just wide of the net. Puck comes up, but not out, and now it's going to bounce out. Wheeler collects it at neutral. Sends it past and through, and then a poke check by Foster. Whitted's going to dump it into the zone and go for a change. Wilderness recollect back behind their own net. They send it up. It doesn't connect, and that's going to go for icing. So we get a whistle. Face-off will be back in the Wilderness zone with 11:04 left in the first. Is your keypad? It's some reason your keypad is connecting to this. I don't know how that happens, but sorry, Rampage win the draw. Keep it in the zone. We've got Bender, Wheeler, and Whittingham, and Whittingham pulls up with it, sends it up to Gudanis. Just whiffs on the shot. Now the Wilderness coming back the other way. They're into the Rampage zone with it. Merrill's going to follow a player to the outside. Wilderness send it low to high and miss the pass. So the puck comes up and out of the zone. King hustling in on the forecheck. Wilderness have it. They recollect in their own zone. They're going to send it across to the near side. Into the zone with it. Shot taken, stall with a save. The puck's going to end up on the far wall. Gudanis is going to poke it up to the near side. Wilderness still with it in the Rampage zone. And now Wheeler with the take. I'm sorry, that's McManus with the takeaway. Puck comes back to Merrill. Is going to send it over to Gudanis. Back to Merrill. Puck comes up to McManus. He's into the zone with it. He holds up top. Tries to take a shot. Goes off a body. Wilderness player coming back the other way with speed. Takes a shot from up high in the Rampage zone. Bisley's going to send it across to Huff on the other side. Sends it back to Bisley. Puck takes a weird bounce off the boards. And now it's bounced and up and out of the zone. Drexel's applying pressure. Can't quite get there. Sarver's in there as well. Wilderness are going to send it up and out of the zone. Bisley recollects, sends it to Sarver, who skates it into the zone. Drops it for Bisley. Bisley over to Huff. Huff feeds it in and towards, and the Wilderness with the takeaway. They're going to skate it out of the zone now. Through neutral, into the Rampage zone with it. Shot taken from up high, goes off the side of the net and back behind. Puck comes up low to high. Shot. And a shot taken from the point that bounced off, I think, a couple of bodies. Ends up sneaking in. So with 9:10 left in the first period, scores all tied up 1-1. Out on the ice, we've got Roberts, Wilton, Espirito, Wheeler, and Whitted. Rampage win the draw back into their own zone. Wheeler's going to have to go after it. He's got a player on. He sends it over to Espirito. Espirito gets tied up down in the corner. Puck comes up. Shot goes off the side of the net. Ends up on the far side. Roberts is going to pick it up. He sends it out of the zone, and now Wilderness with the steal. They're back in the Rampage zone with it. Goes towards Stahl, and he's going to cover it up and hang on to it. He does so. Things get tied up right after the whistle. We'll have a face-off in the Rampage zone. 8:43 left in the first. Score is 1-1. Same crew out as before. Wilton, Whitted, Roberts, Espirito, and Wheeler. Takeaway on the face-off, and a quick shot goes off the side of the net. Wheeler picks it up down low. He chips it up off the boards. And puck doesn't make it out of the zone. Held in the zone. Wheeler has to come back for it. Sends it off the boards. Roberts picks it up off the wall. Sends it over towards Espirito. Espirito sends it up out of the zone, and now Roberts is going to take it into the zone. Feeds it over just behind Wilton, who is coming in. Puck is now out. Wilderness with it. They recollect. Rampage were actually very, very much offsides, but Wilderness had control of the puck, and they treated it as a delay. Wheeler with it in his own zone. He's going to skate up and out and takes through the neutral zone into Wilderness territory. Espirito picks it up, chips it back. A little back and forth, and now Wilderness into the Rampage zone with it. They send it towards Stahl, who feeds it over to Wheeler. Wheeler over to Espirito, up to Rahosian. Rahosian skating through neutral. He's into the Wilderness zone with it, and we have a hand pass, it looks like. 7:34 left in the first. Out on the ice, Whittingham, Rahosian, Foster, Gudonis, and Merrill. Wilderness win the draw. It's going to come back into their own zone with it. They send it out. Steal by Merrill. Has to wait for everybody to tag up, and then he does so and feeds it into the Wilderness zone. Wilderness pick it up. They send it out. That's going to go the distance. It should be icing, and is. So we get a stoppage. We'll have a face-off back in the Wilderness zone. 7:20 left in the first. Tied up on the draw. Whittingham's going to feed it over to Gudonis. It comes, keeps it in the zone. Shot taken, goaltender with the save. Rampage win the draw. Held in the zone. Gudonis skates the far wall. Tries to send it across. Sticks in the way. And now Wilderness are going to poke it up and out of the zone. Merrill has to recollect. He's going to send it over to Gudonis. Gudonis on the far side. Back to Rahosian. Goes off a boot, and Whittingham's going to skate in and pick it up. He sends it in the Wilderness zone. Wilderness have it, and they are out of the zone with it now. Into the Rampage zone, Rahosian's going to send it over to Merrill. Merrill feeds it across, deflects off a stick up into the bench, and out of play. 6:37 left in the first. Score is 1-1. Out on the ice, King, Bender, McManus, Huff, and Bisley. Rampage win the draw back into their own zone. Bisley has to pick it up. He's back behind his own net with it. Skates to the near side. Chips it up towards King, but held in the zone by a Wilderness player. Huff has to pick it up down low, sends it around the boards to the far side. Bender tries to chip it, still in the zone. Wilderness takes a shot from up high, goes wide of the net, ends up on the near side wall. Sends a pass through that Huff deflects into the corner. And then a centering pass. The Wilderness player is there to pick it up and puts it in the back of the net. So with 6:09 left in the first, Minnesota Wilderness go up 2-1. Out on the ice, Drexel, Whitted, Sarver, Wheeler, and Espirito. Rampage win the draw. Back to Wheeler on the far side. Wheeler's going to feed it up. I don't think it connected. That's going to go for icing. We get a whistle, face-off will be back in the Rampage zone. Rampage win the draw back in the corner. Wilderness are going to jump on it first. Fed out. Shot goes through the crease into the far side corner. Puck down low, tie it up. Wilderness pick it up. They're back behind the net with it. Feed it out front. Shot taken. Stahl with the save. He's going to hang on to that one. And changing a couple players out. We've got Gudonis and Merrill joining the group. And Rampage win the draw. Comes to Drexel. He's going to skate it out of the zone. He's into the Wilderness zone with it. Gets poke checked into the corner. He's going to tie up with the player down low. Wilderness send it up, and now they clear. They're up and out. Whitted has to come back into his own zone for it. Drops it for Merrill. Merrill tries to send it across, poke checked, and then now the puck is going to come up and out of the zone. Wilderness player is there, and Sarver ties it up, and then Whitted's going to dump it into the zone. Puck down low in the corner in the Wilderness zone now. Up the wall to the near side. Wilderness are going to send it up and out. Gudonis has to go to the far side in his own zone to pick it up. Wilderness with the steal. Shot taken. I think Whitted got a body in the way of that one. Deflects to the near side wall. Puck goes around the boards. Gudonis gets pinched in the corner. He's got Whitted in there with him, and Whitted's going to send it up and out. It doesn't connect, and they're waving off icing because I think the player could have played it. Play continues. Wilderness with it in their own zone, back behind the net. They send it around to the far side. Rampage get a change. Roberts with the steal, feeds it over to Whittingham. Puck ends up in the near side corner. Wilderness are going to pick it up back behind their own net. Whittingham's in there, try to tie things up. He's got Roberts on the far side corner. Gets tied up, held at the boards. Nobody's puck yet. Whittingham's going to come off the wall with it. He feeds it over to Bisley. Bisley takes a shot. Goaltender with a save. Secondary shot. Goalie with another save. Wilderness are going to send it around to the near side board. Still in their zone. Held up on the boards. All tied up. We've got Roberts, Whittingham, and Wilton all in the mix. And I don't think anybody's established control yet. And comes up to Bisley at the point. He takes a shot, goes wide of the net. Ends up on the far side wall. Huff pinching in. He's going to keep it down low, back behind the net. Pass comes by the Wilderness, up and out. They're going to wave it off because it just bounced over Huff's stick. So I think they're going to say he could have played it. And puck comes out and across. Wilton picks it up. He's going to skate it out of his own zone. He's crossed the red line into the Rampage zone, or the Wilderness zone. Whittingham over to Roberts. Roberts in the far corner is going to drop it for Wilton. Back again. Wilderness feed it up and around. Held at the wall. Wilton's in there. Wilderness are going to skate up and out, chip it out of their zone. Wheeler has to come back and pick it up in his own zone. Skates back behind his own net with it. Far corner, sends it up the wall, but not out. And now Wilton chips it up, and the puck goes up, and Stahl is going to send it into the corner. Puck on the far wall. Gets chipped back again, down low, back behind the Rampage net. Deflects up to the blue line, and Wilderness are going to dump it in down low. Espirito sends it around to the far side wall. Wilderness pick it up, takes a shot from the circle. That one's going to go in. So with 2 minutes and 13 seconds left in the first, the Wilderness take a 2-goal lead at 3-1. Out on the ice, we've got Foster, Rahosian, Whitted, Merrill, and Gudanis. Rampage, sorry, puck gets tied up. Wilderness are going to come out of the pile with it. They're into the Rampage zone. And skate around, send it down and wide of the net, ends up in the near side corner. Rahosian sends it out of the zone. Foster's there. He's into the Wilderness zone with it. Foster makes a move, takes a shot. Goaltender gets a piece. It ends up on the far side corner. Whitted is there. Sorry, Gudanis pulls it off the wall. Deflects up in the air, ends up in the near side corner. Up the wall now, Merrill pinching in. He's going to skate off the wall with it. Puck comes loose, and then Foster tries to take a shot. Just fans on the first one. Puck now in the near side corner. Comes up and out of the zone. Gudanis has to race back for it. That's going to be icing. So we get a whistle. Face-off will be back in the Wilderness zone. Out on the ice, we've got Whittingham, Bender, King, Bisley, and Huff. Wilderness come up with a draw. They're going to skate it, send it out of the zone. Bisley with the takeaway, and we have a penalty coming to the Rampage, it appears. Looks like we got a roughing call coming to Jack Whittingham. I did not see it. 1:22 left in first period. Rampage are going to be on the PK for the first time this game. Out on the ice, we've got Bisley, Huff, Drexel, and Sarber. Wilderness win the draw, send it up and out of the zone and offside. So we have a stoppage. Faceoff will come outside the Rampage zone. 1:54 left on the PK. 1:16 in the period. Wilderness win the draw. They're going to feed it across to the far side. Into the Rampage zone now. Drexel picks it up. He turns. He's going to send it. That should go for icing. And we get a whistle. Faceoff will be back in the Rampage zone. 57.5 seconds in the period. 1:35 on the PK. Drexel comes up with it out of the draw, unable to clear the zone with it. Puck on the near side wall. Drexel picks it up. Still can't clear the zone, and now Huff's going to send it, or I'm sorry, Bisley sends it across the far side. Huff sends it up to Sarver, goes just through his legs into the Minnesota zone. Minnesota sends it across into the Rampage zone with it. They're going to take the near side circle. 22 seconds left in the period. Minnesota skate the blue line. They send it across to the far side. Shot goes in. Stahl with the save. And then Drexel's going to send it up the boards and through. I think that's going to go for icing. So we get a whistle, face off, be back in the Rampage zone. With 9.9 seconds left in period number 1, 47 on the penalty kill. Out on the ice, Espirito, Foster, Wilton, and Wheeler. Rampage win the draw back into the corner. Espirito sends it up the boards, and it does clear. Wilton's going to give chase. They're waving off icing. Wilton chases into the corner, and time expires on period number 1. So your score after 1 is 3-1 in favor of the Minnesota Wilderness. And what it looks like to me is we've had some good pressure at times through the first period, and then just I think we've lost a few people in the in our defensive zone a couple of times. Just had a few little breakdowns that have led to goals going the other way. So I think we need to pick it up and start the way it was a good start to the period. I mean, you know, lots of controlled pressure in their zone. Unfortunately, it just started to kind of slowly go back the other direction. The momentum did, but I think the boys are still in this one. One thing I didn't mention, I don't think I mentioned this before this weekend, but we are down a center with Sawyer Jones not being here, and so if you're seeing a lot of mixing the lines around, it's coach is playing 4 lines with 3 centers is essentially the simplest way to say it. So a lot of our forward lines are changing every time because they're kind of rolling the 4 lines with 3 centers. And part of the reason I'm getting a little bit tongue-tied, trying to keep track of who's on the ice at any given time. All right, out to start period number 2, 38 seconds left on the penalty kill for the Rampage boys. And to start this period number 2, we've got Drexel, Roberts, Wheeler, Espirito. Got 18 minutes of the clock. Looks like everybody's in place. Minnesota wins the draw. They're going to send it across ice to the near side. Back again. Tied up on the boards on the far side. Back to the near. Gets chipped up. Unable to advance. It's still a neutral zone. Minnesota's are going to send it back to the far side. Goes off a boot, comes up to a Minnesota player. Roberts gets tied up, turns. He's going to fire it into the zone. Just 9 seconds left on the penalty kill for the Rampage. Pass goes across to the far side. Minnesota dumps it into the zone. They're going to dump it down low, and Wheeler goes after it. Rampage are back at full strength. Puck goes towards Stahl, and he's going to wrangle it in and just hang on to it. 17-13 left in period number 1. Faceoff will be in the Rampage zone. Out on the ice, we've got Sarver, Wilton, Whitted, Gudonis, and Merrill. Rampage win the draw. Gudonis makes a quick move, chips it up towards Sarver. He turns, sends it up, not out of the zone, and now he's going to clear the zone with it. It's back into the Minnesota zone. They have to recollect down low, send it around to the near side boards. Sarver dumps it down low. Whitted's in the corner. Centering pass to Wilton, shot, and the goaltender makes a save. Puck around to the far side wall. Comes up to Whitted, pulls it off the wall, tries to feed it through. Wilton with a shot that didn't make it through. Wilderness send it up and out, and they've got speed. They're into the zone. And on a breakaway with 16:34 left in period number 2, Wilderness go up 4-1. On a breakaway goal. Out on the ice, Foster, McManus, Bisley, Huff, and Rahosian. Rampage come up with it back in their own zone. Huff's going to skate it. He's turning, looking, sends it off the boards on the near side, and I believe that's icing. So we get a whistle. Face-off will be back in the Rampage zone. 6:21 left in the period. Out on the ice, same crew as before. Foster, McManus, Rahosian, Huff, and Bisley. Minnesota comes up with it. They send a pass that comes out to Rahosian. He's got a little bit of speed. Got players on. Makes a move, takes a shot. Goaltender makes a save. Secondary shot. Goaltender makes 2 saves. McManus is in there. Foster's in there. Tied up down low in the corner. Comes up to Rahosian. He skates off the boards with it. Sends it across to Huff. Huff takes a shot. Goaltender hangs on to it. And we'll get a face-off in the Minnesota zone. Nice flurry of activity by the boys on that last shift. Hopefully we can see a little bit more of that. Out on the ice, we've got Bender, Whittingham, King, Espirito, and Wheeler. Rampage win the draw back in the corner, but Wilderness are going to jump on it pretty quick. Puck out of the zone now. Wilderness skate back into their own zone with it. Or, I'm sorry, they skate in the Rampage zone with it. I'm all backwards. They send it up the boards to the near side. King off the boards. Wilderness recollect back in their own zone. Pass comes up, misses its target, and Wheeler's going to pick it up and skate with it the other way. Takes a shot from up high. Goaltender with a save. Whittingham with a backhand. Goaltender with a second save. 15:18 left in period number 2. Out on the ice, Bender, Whittingham, King, Wheeler, and Espirito. Minnesota wins the draw. Comes up to Wheeler at the point. He holds it in. Whittingham off the wall with it. Skates to center, takes a shot, goes wide of the net. King takes a shot, goes wide of the net, comes up to the near side boards. Wheeler dumps it back in. Bender gets there. Sorry, Wilderness send it up the boards. They skate out of the zone with it. Through neutral, into the Rampage zone. Hold up, takes a shot from up high. Stahl has it in his glove. He's got to hang on. 14:47 left in period number 2. Out on the ice, Roberts, Drexel, Whitted, Gudonis, and Merrill. Rampage win the draw into the corner. Gudonis is going to get there, sends it across to Merrill. Drexel sends it up and out. Roberts is going to pick it up. He's into the zone. Loses the handle, has to regain. Centering pass for Drexel. Doesn't quite connect. And now Wilderness out to the other side. Roberts with the check. The puck is into the Rampage zone now. Down low into the corner. Gudonis is going to send it to the other side. Wilderness player is going to get there. A couple of Rampage players in the mix. Puck comes across to center. Nobody can quite wrangle it in, and then Drexel's going to skate out with it. He's through neutral, chips it over. It's in the zone. A lot of bouncing around. Wilderness has it on their stick. They send it up. Shot gets chipped on a good back check by Ian Merrill to get a stick in the way. And now Whitted with a poke check. He's got some space. He's into the zone with it. Whitted takes a shot. Goalie gets a small piece of it, goes wide. Puck comes out to center. Sent up to Roberts. Roberts is out of the zone with it. He feeds it to Wilton. Wilton's into the Minnesota zone. Holds up at the point. Makes a move. He's going to go down low. Comes up to Sarver at the point. Sarver feeds it across towards Bisley. Bisley skates down low. Centering pass. Goaltender makes a save. Puck bounces out front. Now comes up, Huff's going to hold the blue line, keep it in the zone. Wilderness send it across to the near side. Bisley feeds it out front, and now Wilderness are going to clear. They send it the distance. That should go for icing. We get a whistle. Face-off will be back in the Wilderness zone with 12:58 left in period number 2. Out on the ice, we've got McManus, Huff, Bisley, Wilton, and Sarver. Gets tied up on the face-off. McManus tries to take a shot, gets poked in the corner. Rolls out in front of the goaltender, who's going to wrangle it in and cover it up. Face-off in the Wilderness zone. 12:49 left in the first. Or second, excuse me. They still have the first period up on the lighted board up there. Rampage come up with it. Sarver pokes it down in the corner. McManus is going to try to tie it up down low. Sarver's in there too. Up to McManus. Comes off the boards, and now it's going to bounce not out. Huff holds the blue line. He sends it across to the far side. Gets chipped up and now comes out. Bisley has to wrangle it back in. He sends it back, and Rampage are offside. I heard 2 whistles. I think there was maybe a check after the play was dead, but no penalties assigned. Faceoff's going to come to center ice. 12:29 left in the second. We've got Wheeler, Whittingham, Rohojan. I'm sorry, yeah. Wheeler, Whittingham, Rohojan, Foster, and Espirito. Rampage come up with it out of the pile, at least for a second. Gets poked back. Wheeler picks it up. He's going to drop it for Espirito over to Whittingham. It's in his boot. He feeds it back to Espirito. Espirito over to Rohojan. Rohojan skates off the wall with it. They're going to skate it through. Blows a tire going into the corner. Wilderness send it up. Espirito holds it at the wall. Foster pulls it off the wall. Skates to center, gets tripped. And we have a penalty coming to the Wilderness for a trip. So 11:57 left in period number 2. Rampage are going to go on the power play for the first time this game. Out on the ice. Sarver, Drexel, Whitted, Wheeler, Espirito. Rampage win the draw. Comes up to the point to Wheeler. Wheeler over to Espirito. He's holding up. Rampage trying to set up on the power play. Back to Wheeler. Goes through his stick. And Espirito comes over, keeps it in the zone. He's going to skate down the wall with it. Sends it up to Wheeler at the point. Wheeler over to Sarver. Sarver skates the blue line. Sends it down to Espirito down low. Back to Sarver. Sarver to Wheeler. Wheeler skates to neutral. Sends a shot in. Gets deflected. Goes wide of the net. Comes up the near side wall. Drexel up to Sarver. Sarver just fans on it. And now Wilderness tip it over to the other side. They clear the zone with it. Wheeler makes a move. He's got a man on. Has to skate back to neutral ice. Comes through the zone with it. He's into the Wilderness zone. Gets a poke check, and Wilderness are going to clear. I don't think that one's got enough on it. So no icing. Play will continue. Espirito picks it up down low. 1 minute left on the power play for the Rampage boys. Whittingham's got it. He's going to skate out of his own zone with it. He's in neutral. Skates to the circle. Takes a shot. Goaltender with a save. Whittingham recollects. Skates to the near side wall. Sends it across to Bisley. Bisley to Merrill. Merrill holds up at center. Takes a shot. Goes just wide of the net. Wilderness send the puck up to the boards. Whittingham holds it in. Dumps it to the far side corner. Wilderness send it up the boards. Bisley holds at the wall. Roberts is going to pick it up down low. He's in the corner with it. Centering pass attempt. Bounces up and over. Whittingham recollects. Over to Merrill. Merrill takes a shot. Goes off the body. Collects it again. Sends it down to Bisley. Bisley up to Merrill. Merrill down to Bisley. Centering pass. Roberts has it. Takes a shot. Goalie with the save. He's going to cover it up. So we get a stoppage. Just 6 seconds left on the power play. 10:03 in period number 2. Some fairly good work on the power play there. Decent passing, controlling the puck for the most part. Couple of shot attempts. Out on the ice, we've got Rahosian, Whittingham, Foster, Merrill, and Gudanis. Rampage win the draw. Back to Merrill at the point. He skates, takes a circle, takes a shot, bounces way up in the air. Goaltender is going to jump on it when it comes back down. And Minnesota is back at full strength. Same crew out as before. Foster, Whittingham, Rahosian, Gudanis, and Merrill. 5-on-5. Tied up on the draw. Puck comes up to Gudanis, takes a shot from up high that goes wide of the net. And we have a stoppage and a whistle, and it appears that we've got a player going to the box. So Rampage will be on the penalty kill for a holding penalty. 9:49 left in period number 2. Gudanis, Whitted, Drexel, and Merrill out to start the PK. Wilderness win the draw. Comes to the far side, shot taken. Flex off bodies, goes up and over the net, ends up in the far side corner. Comes to the near side point, bounces up and over. It's going to go back into the Wilderness zone. Up to Drexel at neutral. He sends it right back in. Goaltender stops it and leaves it for defenseman for the Wilderness. Drexel with the steal. He's got it in the Wilderness zone. Wilderness now coming back the other way. Wilderness into the Rampage zone with it, and they're offsides by about 3 lengths. According to the horse race, face-off will be just outside the Rampage zone. Clock! The clock has been running for a solid 8 seconds after the play stopped. 1:17 left in the PK. I think it should be a little bit more, unfortunately. That's one that helps us out when we're on the PK, but it still isn't right. Out on the ice, we've got Whitted, Drexel, Bisley, and Huff. Rampage win the draw, comes back to Huff. Huff comes back. They're letting the 5 seconds run because they let it. Gets deflected in the far side corner. Drexel, a poke check by Whitted is going to send it out to neutral. Wilderness, Whitted picks it up, sends it over. Drexel's going to get there. He's got it at the top of the circle. Drexel picks it up. He turns with it. Sends it out to Bisley. Bisley recollects it, neutral. Chips it up towards Whitted. He's going to knock it down and send it into the Wilderness zone. 46 seconds left on the PK for the Rampage boys. Puck comes up to the Wilderness at neutral ice, and they're into the zone. Offside, no call, play continues. Puck goes down low. Whitted's going to send it hard around the boards, takes a weird bounce and comes right out and back into the corner. Wheeler picks it up down low, sends it around the boards to the far side. Huff down low, and then it's going to get sent around to the far side boards. Huff picks it up down low, sends it up. That clears, doesn't connect. I believe that's going to be icing. And it is 6 seconds left. Oh, I'm sorry. 6 seconds left of the penalty, 7:55 in the period, and we will go to the ice cut. So when we come back, faceoff will be in the Rampage zone with 6 seconds left on the PK. I'm going to go on mute for a little bit. I'll be back in about 10 minutes. All right, folks, welcome back. Just a few minutes left to go on the clock, but we got a fresh ice cut. Everybody's on the ice, warming up, getting ready to start the second half of the game, second half of the second period. Rampage currently in a 3-goal deficit, so we've decided, in talking to my local subject matter experts, which are, you know, the parents that are actually here this weekend sitting near me, that our goal for the second half is just to win the second half of this game. Try to start figuring out what works. In my opinion, I've seen some good pressure and stuff out of the boys at times, and then just, you know, we'll have some good pressure, we'll have some good plays, and then we get a breakdown and it ends up leading to a goal. And so I don't feel like this is quite as far off as what it looks like on the scoreboard, at least the way that it feels to me. But we just gotta figure out what's going to work for us. You know, some positives are our penalty kill's been good today. In fact, at least on one of the penalty kills, maybe 2 of them, we've actually had more pressure in their zone than in our zone. But on that note, we're still on the PK for another 6 seconds. 7:55 left in period number 2. Faceoff will be in our zone, and to start this PK, we've got Wheeler, McManus, Espirito, and Rahojan, to be joined on the ice by Armani Foster in 6 seconds when he comes out of the box. Tied up on the draw, Rahojan's going to get there. He skates it up and out of the zone through the red line. He dumps it into the Minnesota zone, just wide of the net. Foster's out of the box, back at full strength. Puck comes up and held apparently on the blue line. I thought Wheeler was standing outside the blue line when he knocked it down. But play continues in the Wilderness zone. Up, still tied up on the boards, and now it's going to get poked up and out. Espirito has to recollect on the far side, sends it over to Wheeler on the near side. Back towards Espirito. He turns, sends it across to McManus, deflects it, and it ends up in the Wilderness zone. Wilderness are going to get there. They can make a move to the outside, send it up the wall. Foster ties up on the boards, puck still in the zone, all tied up. McManus is in there, tries to dump it in. Minnesota's going to pick it up. Back behind their own net with it now. Send it around to the near side boards. Wilderness skate off the boards with it, make a move, blow a tire, and they end up getting it back. Roberts holds it in the zone. He's going to turn and dump it down low. Whittingham after it in the far side corner. He gets poke checked and a little back and forth. Whittingham comes back to him, feeds it over just off the side and back behind the net. Drexel picks it up down low. Dumps it. Comes up to Gudanis at the point. Back to Whittingham. He's going to turn, dump it. Back behind the net. Held up. Drexel's going to send it across. Up and out of the zone and through and into the Rampage zone with it. Stahl makes a play on it as he had a player coming in with speed. Roberts leaves it for Whittingham. Whittingham's into the Wilderness zone. He makes a move to the outside, takes a shot, goes wide of the net, ends up on the near side. Roberts holds it up on the board, still in the Minnesota zone. Drexel's in there as well. Puck all tied up. And now we've got a little bit of a wrestling match going on the boards. Drexel's going to come off the boards with it, sends it across to Merrill. Merrill skates the circle, takes a shot. Goaltender has it in his glove. He's going to hang on. 5:38 left in period number 2. We'll get a face-off in the Minnesota zone. Out on the ice, Wilton, Sarver, Whitted, Huff, and Bisley. Rampage win the draw. Back to Bisley at the point. A little back and forth, and now Wilderness have it. They're out of the zone with it. Into the Rampage zone now. Hold up at the point. Across, and Bisley's going to chip it up and out. Wilderness have to recollect. Back into the Rampage zone with it. Down low in the corner. Huff has to go after it. Back behind his own net. Huff skates to the far side. He's out of the zone. Takes the red line. He's going to dump it in. Sarver giving chase. Sends it around to the near side. Whitted dumps it back down. Wilderness have it. They're back behind their own net with it. Send it up off the boards. Bisley kicks it, keeps it in, and then Whitted with the backhand stays in the zone for now. Wilton is over there, tied up on the boards of the player. Whitted's in with him. Puck tied up, right up against the boards. Wilderness are going to kick it out to the near side. Lead man pass. Bisley's going to pick it up. He feeds it up to Wilton, who's into the zone, drops it for Whitted. Whitted takes a shot. Goaltender with a save. Oh, and it squeaks through and then gets swiped to the side. Best chance Rampage have had in a little while. Comes back across. Back to Huff. Huff's going to feed it into the zone. Wilderness send it to the far side. And they're going to dump it in on net. Stahl plays it up and out towards Sarver, who drops it for Whitted off the boards. Whitted's into the zone with it. Takes a shot. Goes off the goaltender and up and over. Sarver picks it up. He's going to feed it over to Huff. Huff sends it off the wall. King is there. He's into the zone. Takes a shot that deflects. I think the goalie must have got a piece of it. It deflects up into the netting and out of play. 3:58 left in period number 2. And some good pressure by the Rampage boys since the ice cut. Hopefully we'll just see more of that. Out on the ice, we've got Bender, McManus, King, Wheeler, and Espirito. Tied up on the draw. Rampage poke it into the corner. McManus gets there. King's in there with him. McManus pulls it out of the corner. He turns, sends a shot, goes wide of the net, ends up on the far wall. Espirito holds it and dumps it back down low. Hook back behind the net. King feeds it to McManus, tries to take a shot, goes off a body, comes back to him. King picks it up, skates to the center, takes a shot. Goaltender has it and is going to hang on. 3:32 left in period number 2. Face off in the Minnesota Wilderness zone. Out on the ice, Whittingham, Rahosian, Foster, Espirito, and Wheeler. Tied up on the draw. Wilderness are going to skate out with it. They clear the zone. Comes back to Wheeler. He's in his own zone with it. Gets chipped down low into the corner. Fed out front. Shot taken. Stahl with a save. Return still in the zone. Espirito has to come back for it. He makes a quick move. It's out to the corner. He's going to send it across to the other side to Wheeler. Wheeler feeds it up towards Rahosian, has to try to wrangle it in, clears the zone with it. Wilderness with the steal, and then it comes back to Rahosian, and then it's in the Rampage zone and right back out again. Puck comes through, deflects off a boot into the Rampage zone. Espirito is going to push it into the far corner. Wilderness with it on the far side. They send it up to the point. Shot goes in, gets deflected wide of the net. Wheeler picks it up down low. Off the glass, up and out. That's going to go the distance. And it goes for icing. We get a whistle. Face-off will be back in the Rampage zone with 2:25 left in period number 2. Out on the ice, we've got Roberts, Whitted, Drexel, Merrill, and Gudanis. Rampage win the draw. Comes back to Gudanis in the corner. Up to the point. Shot taken. Doesn't make it through. Whitted's going to pick it up out front. Lead man pass for Drexel. Drexel's all by himself. He's into the zone. Carter Drexel and the goalie makes a save. Puck gets tied up as Whitted gets clotheslined from behind into the boards. Play continues, and now puck gets in the Rampage zone. Up the wall. Comes off the boards. Gudanis. Shot and Stahl with the save, and he's going to hang on to it. 1:46 left in period number 2. Out on the ice, we've got Sarver, Wilton, Huff, Bisley, and Whittingham. Rampage win the draw, comes back to Bisley. He's going to send it to the far side wall. Wilton with it. He's skating out of the zone, just loses the handle, and now it's going to get pushed into the Wilderness zone. They feed it up and out. Comes back to Bisley. He reflects in his own zone, sends it across to the far side. Wilton has it. Comes back across, goes off a boot. It's into the zone. Sarver gets there. Johnny Sarver with a really strong grab. Puts the puck in the back of the net and goes hard into the boards. It was just blew a tire as he was taking the shot, extended himself. 1:18 left in period number 2. Johnny Sarver with the goal to make it 4-2. He's back on the bench. Hopefully he is doing all right. Excellent hard-working play by Sarver to jump on that one and get the goal. Out on the ice, we've got Bender, King, McManus, Espirito, and Wheeler. Minnesota wins the draw. Back into their own zone with it. Comes across to the near side. Gets deflected back. A little bit of back and forth. Comes out to a player at neutral ice who's going to turn and dump it into the Rampage zone. Back behind the Rampage net now, Espirito has it behind his own net, sends it up towards Bender, deflects it, goes to a Minnesota player. The shot gets deflected up and ends up in the far corner. Comes up the wall to the point. Back down low to Wheeler. Wheeler back behind the net, over to Espirito. Espirito up the boards. Comes up to the point. Shot back down low. Espirito's going to knock it around to the other side. Wheeler sends it up and out. McManus turns. He's going to dump it into the Minnesota zone. Just 18 seconds left in the period. Puck behind the Wilderness net. Wilderness with it. They're skating, looking. They're in their own zone. Hold up, taking their time. They're going to pass it across to the far side. Comes out to neutral. Whitted has it. He's going to dump it into the zone. That's on net, and time will run out on period number 2. So your score after 2 is 4-2 in favor of the Minnesota Wilderness. Well, so far, I do think it was a pretty good effort by the boys that second half of the second period since the ice cut. Generating some good offensive pressure, which is what we need to see, and they, just as we asked for, they did win the second half of that second period. So on the hard-working breakaway goal by Johnny Sarver, who put everything into getting that puck and making the shot and ended up, like I said, going hard into the boards. We'll keep an eye on him. Make sure he's doing all right. Out on the ice to start this period number 3. We've got Foster, Merrill, Rahosian, Whitted, Gudanis, and of course Zach Stahl in net. All right, here we go. Start period number 3. Wilderness come up with it off the draw. It's going to dump it into the Rampage zone. Gudanis picks it up back behind the net. He's going to send it back over to Rahosian. Quick turnover, shot on goal. Stahl's going to cover it up. All right, out on the ice, we've got Drexel, Roberts, Whittingham, Merrill, and Gudanis. Whittingham gets his own face-off. He's going to skate it out. He sends it up to Drexel, who chips it into the zone. Fed over to Whittingham. Whittingham to Roberts. Quick shot. Goaltender with a nice save. Nice play, nice pressure, and the good save by the Minnesota goaltender. We'll get a face-off in the Minnesota zone. 17:31 left in the game. Rampage win the draw. Back to Merrill. Over to Roberts. Roberts takes a shot from up high. Goaltender has it. He's going to cover it up. We'll get a face-off in the Minnesota zone. Rampage win the draw. Goes just past Merrill and out to neutral. Merrill has to regroup. Sends it over to Gudonis. Gudonis sends it, goes off a body, and Minnesota's going to pick it up. They're into the Rampage zone with it. Shot goes up and over to the far side. Puck comes out. Whittingham feeds it up to Drexel. He's going to clear the zone with it. Minnesota back into their own zone. Roberts gets tied up with the player back behind the net. Goes out to the far side. Minnesota's going to skate it up and out of the zone now. They're through neutral. They're into the Rampage zone with it. Shot taken, stalled, turns to the side. Ends up in the far corner. Gudonis takeaway. He feeds it to the outside wall. McManus picks it up. Roberts feeds it up and out. McManus is going to kick it to himself. He sends it into the Minnesota zone. He's going to go after it back behind the net. A couple of Rampage players going for a change. Johnny Sarver back on the ice. That's really good to see. Minnesota sends it up and out. And back into their own zone. Comes back to Wilton. Wilton holds up, sends it across to Bisley on the near side. Bisley up to McManus. He's going to chip it up and into the zone. Sarver applying pressure. McManus picks it up for a second. And then, it bounces out just past the stick of Wilton. He's waiting right out front. Puck comes across to the near side. Pass gets deflected into the far side corner. Down low, Huff is going to send it. It's back behind the net. Bisley's in there as well. Minnesota sends it up to the point, takes a shot from up high, goes off a skate and wide of the net. Bisley sends it around the boards to the other side. Sends it across. And then a takeaway by Sarver. He's going to skate into the zone with it. Makes a move, holds up at the point. He's waiting, everybody else getting a change. Tries to feed it across, and it just doesn't make it through. Minnesota back in to the far side corner of the Rampage zone. Wheeler's down low, sends it up the wall. Whitted picks it up, skates out of the zone with it, feeds it over just in front of King, doesn't connect. That should go for icing, and does indeed. So we get a whistle. Face-off will be back in the Rampage zone. 14:47 left in the game. Scores 4-2. I need to update the period here on my app. As we are in the third period. Out on the ice, we've got Bender, King, Whitted, Espirito, and Wheeler. Rampage win the draw. Wheeler feeds it through, comes up to King on the boards, doesn't quite clear the zone. Puck goes back around to the other side. Down low, Wilbur just comes out of the corner with it. They skate it back behind the net. Whitted trying to tie it up. A couple players down low. He's got Wheeler came in, puck still out front, and Minnesota's going to send it to the far corner. Held on the boards. Whitted's going to send it up. It deflects off a stick. Bender's got it. He's one-on-one into the zone. It's poke check to the outside. King holding it on the boards on the far side. Whitted pulls it off the wall, skates down low with it. He's back behind the net. Whitted skates off the wall, takes a shot. Goaltender makes the save. He's going to hang on. 13:50 left in the game. Face-off in the Minnesota zone. Out on the ice, we've got Foster, Whittingham, Rahosian, Merrill, and Gudonis. Rampage win the draw. Comes up to Merrill at the point. Merrill turns around, dumps it down. Wilderness clear it. That should go the distance, and it is icing. 13:42. Left in the game. Face off back in the Minnesota zone. Rampage win the draw. Back to Merrill at the point. He's going to dump it in. Gudonis sends it in. Goaltender makes a save. Wilderness pick it up down low. They're going to send it up the near side boards. Puck comes out of the zone, and now Wilderness are going to pick it up. They skate through. They're in the Rampage zone with it. Centering pass. Gudonis picks it up on the far side. He's going to chip it around the boards. Up the wall. Comes up and out. Merrill sends it across to Foster. Foster up into the Minnesota zone with it. Down low, it's back behind the net now. Puck tied up down low. Minnesota picks it up back behind their own net. They send it way up in the air. Not out. Bisley gets a body in the way. Whittingham picks it up. Skates to center and gets poked into the near side corner. Tied up on the boards. Puck comes out. Minnesota sends it up, and Huff holds it, tightens it up at the point, and now it's out of the zone. Huff sends it down the wall. It's offsides, I think. .29 left in the game. Out on the ice, we've got Drexel, Roberts, McManus, Bisley, and Huff. Rampage win the draw. Over to Bisley. He's going to fire it in to the zone. McManus is giving chase down low. We're going to send it up the near side boards. Held up by Bisley. Tied up on the wall. Now we're going to send it up. Drexel can't quite keep it in the zone. A little back and forth right outside the zone, and we have a hand pass maybe? Maybe it was offsides. I don't know. Faceoff's coming out to center ice. It's hard to see right up against the boards here, close. Same crew as before. Drexel, McManus, Roberts, Huff, and Bisley. Rampage win the draw. Bisley send it up off the boards into the zone. Drexel applying pressure on the forecheck. Wilderness send it across to the far side. Puck comes right out front. Drexel with a quick shot. Goaltender makes the save. Puck still loose. Comes back behind the net. Roberts picks it up, sends it up to Bisley. Bisley takes a shot, deflects off a stick up into the netting and out of play. 11:43 left in period number 3. Score is 4-2 in favor of the Minnesota Wilderness. Out on the ice. What do we got? Sarver, Whitted, Wheeler, Espirito, and Wilton. Rampage win the draw. Send it up to Espirito at the point. He skates down the wall. Centering pass. Goes off a skate. Wilderness send it up, and they're out of the zone with it now. Take the outside and dump it into the Rampage zone. Back behind Zach Stahl, who's going to send it around the boards to the far side. Poke check by Sarver. Whitted's going to drop it, and we do have a hand pass. Whitted's trying to argue his case that it did go off of his stick as he threw it down, but they didn't see it. They called it a hand pass. It's a fine call, but I think it was a mistake. Coach trying to have a talk with it, but it's just what it was. They just couldn't see it, but I could see it. He pulled it down, deflected off his stick, and I think they're talking about where the faceoff's going to be. It's outside the Rampage zone, which is where it was when he knocked it down out of the air. So Rampage win the draw. Minnesota's going to jump on it. They're into the Rampage zone with it. Tied up down low in the corner. Whitted gets there. Tries to turn. His stick is stuck in the boards. Tied up down low, and now Espirito is going to pick it up back behind the net. Sends it up, deflects off of the stick and out. Sarver's there. He's got a player on him. He's able to advance into the zone, takes a check to the back of the head. Whitted tries to get there, just can't quite wrangle it in. He finally does, sends it up to Wheeler. Wheeler turns with it, walks the blue line, and now it's going to get chipped up to the far side. Wheeler picks it up, skates to the circle, takes a shot. Blaze Wheeler from the top of the circle puts a beauty of a shot in the far top corner. So with 10:31 left in the game, Rampage closed it to within 1. Nice shot by Blaze Wheeler there for his first goal of the season, I think. I like seeing that. I like seeing the effort that's put in. Out on the ice, we've got Foster, Whittingham, Rahosian, Gudanis, and Merrill. Rampage win the draw, comes back to Gudanis, over to Merrill, goes off a skate, and the Wilderness are going to dump it back behind the net in the Rampage zone. Gudanis changes direction. Whittingham picks it up, skates up, and Rahosian's going to pick it up and skate out of the zone with it. He's into the zone, takes a shot, goes off a body, ends up right out front. Wilderness have it back behind their own net, skating out of the zone now on the far side. They're going to push it into the Rampage zone and give chase. Puck comes up to the point. Wilderness send a shot, doesn't make it through. Boots in the way. Whittingham's going to send it up out of the zone, and Wilderness send it back in, and they're offside. I believe the faceoff's going to come to center. 9:49 left in the game. Scores 4-3. Out on the ice, Ian King, McManus, Bender, Huff, and Bisley. Wilderness win the draw, but Rampage are going to get there. McManus sends it down low. Wilderness have it back behind their own net, send it to the near side boards. Up, but not quite out. McManus holds it, and now it gets tied up down low. King's in there, sends it back behind the net. Bender picks it up. Bender sends it up to the point. Bisley gets there. He's going to drop it down around the boards, takes a ride to the other side, and Huff closes in, gives it to McManus. He turns, tries to feed it out front, and Wilderness break that one up, and they're going to clear the zone with it. Huff has it, backhands it over to the near side. McManus turns and fires. Goaltender holds it up, sends it up to his player on the near side. Puck tied up on the boards, and now comes up and out of the zone. Huff has to recollect. He sends it over to Wheeler on the far side. Wheeler makes a move, sends it into the Minnesota zone where they are going to collect and come skating out. Take the red line, dump it into the Rampage zone. Puck ends up back behind the net. Espirito is there, sends it out to the far side. Bender gives it to Whitted. He makes a move, skates out of the zone with it. He's into the Minnesota zone. Drops the puck momentarily, then has to recollect it back. Centering pass to Roberts, who was there and just couldn't get a good stick on it. Puck ends up in the near side. Drexel has it down low in the corner, feeds it up to Whitted. Whitted sends it in, goes off the goaltender's pads and ends up at the far wall. Wheeler takes a shot. Blaze Wheeler, 2 for 2 on a shot from up high. So just on the second goal of the game to Blaze Wheeler. Rampage tie it up with 8:20 left in the game. Showing some signs of life. The Rampage boys out on the ice. We've got Sarver, Whittingham, Wilton, Gudanis, and Merrill. Rampage win the draw. Sarver sends it in and across. Minnesota's going to chip it up and out. Gudanis has to come over and get it, sends it to the boards. Minnesota with the turnaround. They have to wait to tag up, and apparently we're still just a touch offside. So we get a stoppage. Face-off will come outside the Rampage zone with 8:05 left in the game. Scores all tied up 4-4. Rampage win the draw back into their own zone. Merrill's going to pick it up, send it across to Gudanis. Gudanis across. Off of Whittingham's stick, it goes into the zone. Down low, Wilton's in there. Whittingham picks it up out of the corner. He's going to make a move back behind the net. Whittingham to Gudanis. Takes a shot, goes wide of the net. It's up at the near side. Merrill pinching in. Centers the pass. Can't get a stick on it. Goes down low. Whittingham's going to send it up to Gudanis at the point. Gudanis back to Whittingham. He's going to skate off the wall. Over to Gudanis. Down to Merrill. Merrill centering pass. And now Wilderness are going to turn and clear. That should go for icing. Just barely does, so 7:23 left in the game. Faceoff's going to come back into the Minnesota zone. Out on the ice, we've got McManus, Rahosian, Foster, Bisley, and Huff. Rampage win the draw. Comes back to Bisley. Quick shot from the point. Goaltender has it in his glove. He's going to just hang on. We'll get another face-off in the Minnesota zone. Tied up. Minnesota wins that face-off. Goes in the corner. Rampage jump on it. Keep it tied up down low. McManus is in there. He's got Foster with him. Minnesota comes out of the scrum with it. And we've got a penalty coming to the Rampage. Believe it's going to be a hold based on what I saw. And Rampage touch up. So we get a stoppage. And with 6:57 left in the game, Rampage will be on the penalty kill. Got a holding penalty, as I suspected, coming to Armani Foster. Out on the ice to start the PK. Drexel, Whitted, Huff, Bisley. Wilderness win the draw up to the point. Send it in. Pokecheck's going to keep it at the point. Working the boards on the outside. Shot taken. Hard shot. Nice save by Zach Stahl with traffic in front. Puck gets sent back down low, back behind the net. It's going to come out. Whitted's going to pick it up. Makes a move to the inside. Skates with it. Takes the red line and fans on dumping it. Gets tied up right at the red line. Puck comes across. Bisley chips it up and out. Wilderness make a move to the outside. Back into the Rampage zone with it. They send it across the far side. Feed it back down low. Wilderness on the far side with it. Send it low to high, up to the middle. Takes a shot, deflects off a stick up into the netting and out of play. 1:08 left on the penalty kill, 6:05 in the game. Score's currently tied up. Out on the ice, we've got Espirito, Wheeler, Roberts, and Whittingham. Rampage win the draw back into the corner. Espirito tries to turn and fire, and it just gets stuck on the ice. Whittingham ties it up down low on the boards. Espirito's in there to help him out. Puck just tied up, and now Minnesota's going to send it up. Goes past the player at the point, comes up and out of the zone. Roberts applying pressure on the forecheck. He gets a stick on it. He's going to feed it out to Whittingham. Whittingham back to the boards down low. Roberts tries to tie it up down in the corner. Takes an elbow to the head, and then I do believe we're going to have a penalty coming. Looks like it's going to be a cross check. So 5:43 left in the game, and we've got a penalty coming to Minnesota, which is going to make it 4-on-4 for the next 37 seconds. Out on the ice, Drexel, Espirito, Wheeler, Whitted. Rampage win the draw. Back to Wheeler, over to Espirito. Espirito fans on the shot. Minnesota coming back the other direction with speed. They're into the zone. Shot goes wide of the net, rings around the boards to the near side. They send it across to the far side. Take a shot from up top. Drexel picks it up in his own zone, makes a move to center. He's going to skate it through, takes the red line. He's into the zone with it. Tries to drop it. Minnesota jumps and picks that one off. They're out of the zone now. And a sauce pass. Shot goes just wide. And then Espirito picks it up. Rampage are on the power play for the next minute and 23. Back in their own zone with it. They're going to turn, skate, send it up to the lead man into the Rampage zone. Drexel comes back, picks it up, sends it over to Sarver. Sarver's into the zone with it. He holds up, and then Minnesota Wilderness clear. It comes back to Merrill, skates back into his own zone with it, across to Wilton. Wilton holds up. Wilton's into the zone with it. He takes the near side boards, skates down low, up to Whittingham at the point. Whittingham sends it to Bisley, back to Whittingham. Whittingham skates, drops it for Bisley. Shot taken, goaltender with the save. He's going to hang on to it. We'll get a face-off. .38 seconds left on the power play, 4:12 in the game. Out on the ice for the power play, Whittingham, Roberts, Wilton, Bisley, and Merrill. Whittingham sends the puck up top to Merrill. Back to Whittingham. Over to Merrill. Merrill down to Bisley. Bisley feeds it down low, back behind the net. Wilton picks it up, sends it up to Whittingham, bounces on him, comes out of the zone. Merrill has to come back and recollect. Just 18 seconds left on the power play. Merrill sends it through, and it's into the zone. Wilton's going to get there, and I believe they called icing. Actually tipped off of a Minnesota player's stick, but 12 seconds left on the power play, face-off in the Rampage zone, 3:46 in the game. Whittingham, Wilton, Roberts, Gudanis, and Merrill on the ice. Tied up on the draw, and then Gudanis is going to come out of the pile with it. It's back behind his own net, skates to the near side, sends it across to Merrill. Merrill back across to Gudanis. Gudanis tips it into the zone, gets tied up on his way in. Roberts picks it up, feeds it through the goaltender with a nice glove save. Tough one to see, traffic out front. 3:27 left in the game. Out on the ice, we've got Bender, King, McManus, Merrill, and Gudanis. Everybody back at full strength. Rampage win the draw. Bender sends it up to Merrill. Merrill drops it down the boards, back behind the net. Puck goes around the boards to the far side. Comes out. King picks it up. He turns with it. Dumps it into the zone. Back down low. McManus applying pressure. Keeps it behind the net momentarily. Wilderness are going to skate it to the near side. They send it up the boards. Up and out of the zone. They're through and into the Rampage zone with it. Shot taken. Merrill gets a stick on it, deflects it wide. Merrill's going to go in and pick it up. He drops it for Gudanis. Gudanis, puck gets kind of stuck down low and back behind the net. Merrill reverses direction. King's going to have to come back for it. Sends it up the boards. Shot taken. Gudanis knocks it down. He's going to pick it up out front. Makes a quick move. He's out of the zone with it. And then stops the dump pass back in. Merrill picks it up in his own net, or own zone, excuse me. He turns, he drops it for Huff. Huff skates to the near side, chips it up and into the zone. Wilderness goaltender plays it up around the boards, comes up to the point to Huff, sends it back down towards Foster. Off the wall, a little back and forth. Rahosian's going to send it in just wide of the net. Puck on the far side wall. Gets poked up to the point to Bisley. He holds it in. Stuck on the wall, a little back and forth. Foster's going to come up. Actually, Whitted picks it up, takes a shot, goes off of a body, comes out front, tries to drop pass. Wilderness skated out. Puck comes across to the near side. And now Whitted's going to pick it up, send it out, and turn around, and it gets dumped back into the Rampage zone. Bisley has to go after it behind his own net. He turns, he skates with it, feeds it up just outside the pass, comes to Whitted. He's going to chip it into the zone to the far side. Wilderness have it. They're back out of the zone with it. Shot from up high. Stahl gets a glove on it, goes wide. Comes back through the crease. Another shot, Stahl with another save. Roberts turns and fires it up and out. That should be icing. Oh, they're waving it off. They waved it off early. Play will continue. Rampage going for a change. Puck comes up, deflected, ends up all the way back in the Rampage zone. Espirito sends it up the boards. Tied up and still in the Rampage zone. Comes back down to Espirito down low. He makes a move, sends it up to Drexel. Drexel skates through. He's into the Minnesota zone. He skates to the far side. Centering pass attempt. And a quick poke check, a little back and forth. Roberts just tries to pick it up. It slides back into the Minnesota zone where they are there to get it. They turn around, chip it out of the zone. Drexel picks it up at the red line. He's going to turn, skates it into the zone. Drexel makes a move to outside, tries to take a shot, fans on the shot, goes wide. We've had a lot of that happen recently. Fanning on shots and passes. I'm not sure what's going on there. Puck down low, and just 4 seconds left in the game. 2-1, and time will expire. So your score after 3 is all tied up 4-4. I don't know if we have an overtime in this tournament or not. We're about to find out. It looks like they're saying 5 minutes, 3-on-3, sudden death overtime. So by a well-battled second half, Rampage come back from a 3-goal deficit to tie it up and take us to overtime. And this scenario feels too familiar to the last time that we managed to tie up a game after playing from behind. Hopefully we can have a little bit different result this time than last time. So the kids did what I wanted. They won the second half of the game. That's kind of all I asked for at the ice cut. Lots of good, hard-working play, and unfortunately a handful of just weird whiffing on passes or puck getting stuck or whatever that has been a little weird, but I'm proud of them for battling back. So now we just got to see how it's going to go in overtime. Should be a 3-on-3, 5-minute sudden death. Here we go. See who we got to start this 3-on-3. It appears to be Sarver, Wilton, and Gudanis. And of course, Zach Stahl in net. Rampage win the draw, comes back to Gudanis. He's going to wrangle it in, sends it up to Wilton. Wilton skates through, he's into the zone, going to hold up at the point, sends it back out to Gudanis. Rampage trying to just control the puck right now, which is what you do in overtime. Gudanis off the wall to Wilton. Poke check, and now it's going to come back out. Comes back out to Gudanis. He wrangles it back in. He gets kind of tripped from behind into the boards, but that shot taken, Stahl with the save. Down to the corner. Wilton's going to send it around. Gudanis blows the tire. Puck ends up on the far side. Turn Shot taken, comes down into the corner. Wilderness are going to get there. Pass. Sarver with the stick on it is going to break it up. He sends it over to Gudonis, who's going to wrangle it in back behind the net. Gudonis sends a pass up outside the reach of Whitted. That's going to be icing. No, I'm sorry, it comes in, but Wilderness have control of the puck. Wilderness back into the zone with speed. They take the outside into the corner. Wheeler's in there, tries to tie a player up down low. Player skates to the outside, takes a shot, goes up and over, ends up on the near side wall. Whitted's going to pick it up. He skates with it. He's into the Wilderness zone, makes a move to the outside, turns, centering pass, and nobody home. So Wilderness is going to pick it up, send it back again. They're into the Rampage zone with it. Poke check by Whitted. He's going to send it out. He gets hooked on his way to try and chase it. No call, play continues. That's 2 penalties now that they've missed in overtime. Wilderness pick it up down low, holding it up in their own zone. Up and out of the zone, into the Rampage zone with it. Shot taken. Stahl gets a piece of it, sends it wide of the net. Wheeler back behind his own net with it. Makes a move. He's going to bring it back to himself. Wheeler feeds it over to Roberts on the far side. Roberts wrangles it in. He's going to skate with it over to Whittingham. Whittingham's into the zone. Jack Whittingham takes a shot. Goaltender makes a save. Ends up in the corner. Whittingham turns, dumps it down low. Comes up and out. Merrill's going to take it away. He sends it back to Whittingham in the Rampage zone. Whittingham turns. He's going to hold it up. Whittingham sends it over to Roberts. Whittingham holds up with it. Over to Roberts into the Minnesota zone. Roberts makes a move to the middle, takes a shot, goes wide of the net. Whittingham sends it up and out, or I'm sorry, he skates out with it, sends it across to Merrill. Merrill over to Drexel. Drexel has to knock it down, wrangle it in. He's got a player on him, makes a move to the outside. Skates through neutral. He's into the zone with it. Carter Drexel takes it to the outside. He holds up in the corner. Skates up top. Takes a shot. Goaltender makes the save. Rebound. The puck is out front. Players get tied up. And now Wilderness coming back the other way. Drexel picks it up down low. Feeds it back behind the net. Drops it for Wheeler back behind the net. Wheeler holds up, sends a pass over to Whitted, goes off a skate and out, and Minnesota comes back the other way. Whitted gets hooked, and we've got a penalty shot coming by refs who haven't watched anything else. That's 3 they missed going the other way.
Call it right!
Minute 15 left in overtime, and we've got a penalty shot coming on. All right, here we go. Come on, Zach. Player makes a move, holding up, just sitting, waiting, and sends it off the post. So we will continue. Minute 15 left in sudden death overtime. Nice job by Zach Stahl to be nice and patient. Player has to take it to the outside, sends it off the post. Out on the ice, we've got Wilton, Sarver, Wheeler. Tied up on the draw. Rampage win it. Back to Wheeler. He's going to hold up back behind his own net. Sends it up off the boards to Wilton. Wilton turns, makes a move. He's going to skate with it. He's into the zone. Centering past the Sarver, just doesn't quite connect. Sarver was there. Sarver picks it up on the far side. He's hanging on to it. He's going to drop it back for Wilton. Wilton back in his own zone, sends it across to Wheeler. 48 seconds left in overtime. Wheeler takes it to the far side. Centering pass, Wilderness with the steal. They're going to skate it up. Send it up, deflects off a stick, back in the Rampage zone. Wilton has it, sends it to Johnny Sarver, just can't quite wrangle it in. It's going to go the distance. That's going to be icing. Face-off will be back in the Rampage zone with 31.8 seconds left in overtime. Whittingham, Merrill, and Roberts out on the ice. Face-off in the Rampage zone. Rampage win the draw. Back to Merrill. Up to Whittingham. Whittingham through into the zone. Feeds it out to Roberts. Roberts sends it back. Goes off a skate. He comes back in. Roberts gets there. Wrangles it back in. Comes up and out of the zone. Oh, and drops a pass. And Wilderness with the quick steal. They're back into the zone. And Merrill with a nice back check to save the day. Whittingham across to Roberts, back behind him. He's into the zone, and time expires in overtime. I don't know if we have any rules for a shootout or if that'll do it. I'm waiting to hear what the... Looks like everybody's staying out there, so we must have some kind of contingency for being tied at the end of the first overtime. Refs over talking to the benches. I'm trying to figure out I don't know what the discussion is, if there's an option or what the rules are. Maybe they're explaining to them what the rules are. Maybe we might be, looks like they're setting up maybe for a shootout. Yeah, I do believe that's what we got going on. So it looks like we're going to go to a shootout. All right, here we go. Wilderness to take the first shootout attempt. Zach Stahl with a nice save. It appears we have Eugene Yevgeny Rahosian coming out to take the first shootout attempt for the Rampage boys. All right, Yevgeny with it. He's going to chip it, come in after it, grab it, and make a move. Sends the shot up and over, wide of the net. I think the goalie might have got a piece in his glove. 0-0 right now. Minnesota up for their second attempt. Minnesota player skates it in. Making a few moves. They're skating in, controlling. Takes a shot. Zach Stahl with a nice save. Tries to go low. Stahl turns him aside. Carter Drexel in to take the second shootout attempt for the Rampage. Drexel picks it up. He's going to skate to the outside. Come back to the inside. Carter Drexel tries to feed it. 5-hole, and the goaltender makes a save. So after two, we're 0-0. Minnesota for their third attempt. Player making a move to the outside. Waiting, shot. And that one's going to go in. So after the third round, Minnesota leads 1-0. Blaze Wheeler with an attempt for the third shooter for the Rampage. Needs this one to keep us in play. Wheeler makes a move to the outside. Wheeler makes a move, comes in, takes a shot. Goaltender makes a save, and so after the shootout, unfortunately, after one hell of a comeback, really solid game played, and a ridiculous overtime where we had 3 calls that should have gone in our favor that were overlooked, followed by a penalty shot call the other way, which was absolute I mean, the whole scenario was absolute garbage. But the boys battled back and then end up going down in a shootout in overtime. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you a little bit later this afternoon.